Hello and welcome. My name is Alan and we are back with more in the Buddha's words. Today we will continue with chapter 4. We finished the I guess it was a introduction of the chapter. I think is just what it's titled. Yeah. Anyway, the chapter's titled "In Happiness Visible in the Happiness Visible in This Present Life." This is section 1, part 1. Upholding the Dhamma in Society, the King of the Dhamma. The Blessed One said, "Monks, even a will-turning monarch, a just and righteous king, does not govern his realm without a co-regent." When he had spoken, a certain monk addressed the Blessed One thus: "But who, venerable sir, is the co-regent of the will-turning monarch, the just and righteous king?" "It is the Dhamma, the law of righteousness, O monk," replied the Blessed One. "In this case, the will-turning monarch, the just and righteous king, relying on the Dhamma, honoring the Dhamma, esteeming and respecting it, with the Dhamma as his standard, banner, and sovereign, provides lawful protection, shelter, and safety for his own dependents. He provides lawful protection, shelter, and safety for the Khatriyas attending on him, for his army, for the Brahmins and householders, for the inhabitants of town and countryside, for ascetics and Brahmins, for the beasts and birds. A will-turning monarch is a just and righteous king, who thus provides lawful protection, shelter, and safety for all, is the one who rules by Dhamma only, and that rule cannot be overthrown by any hostile human being. Even so, O monk, the Tathagata, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one, the just and righteous king of the Dhamma, relying on the Dhamma, honoring the Dhamma, esteeming and respecting it, with the Dhamma as his standard, banner, and sovereign, provides lawful protection, shelter, and safety in regard to action by body, speech, and mind. He teaches thus: such bodily action should be undertaken, and such should not be undertaken. Such verbal action should be undertaken, and such should not be undertaken. Such mental action should be undertaken, and such should not be undertaken. The Tathagata, the Arahant, the fully enlightened one, the just and righteous king of the Dhamma, who thus provides lawful protection, shelter, and safety in regard to action by body, speech, and mind, is the one who turns the incomparable will of the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma only, and that will of the Dhamma cannot be turned back by any ascetic or Brahmin, or any Deva or Mara or Brahma, or by anyone in the world. Section 1, Part 2, Worshipping the Six Directions. Thus I have heard. On one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha, at the bamboo grove in the squirrel's sanctuary. Then Sigalaka, the householder's son, having got up early and gone out of Rajagaha, was paying homage with wet clothes and hair and with joined palms to the different directions, to the east, the south, the west, the north, the nadir, and the zenith. And the Blessed One, having risen early and dressed, took his robe and bow and went to Rajagaha for alms. And seeing Sigalaka paying homage to the different directions, he said, "Householder's son, why have you got up so early to pay homage to the different directions?" "Venerable sir, my father, when he was dying, told me to do so. And so, out of respect for my father's words, which I revere, honor, and hold sacred, I have got up early to pay homage in this way to the 6 directions." "But, householder's son, that is not the right way to pay homage to the 6 directions according to the Noble One's discipline." "Well, venerable sir, how should one pay homage to the 6 directions according to the Noble One's discipline?" "Then listen and attend carefully, householder's son. I will speak." "Yes, sir, venerable sir," Sigalaka said. The Blessed One said this: "And how, householder's son, does the noble disciple protect the 6 directions? These 6 things are to be regarded as the 6 directions. The east denotes mother and father. The south denotes teachers. The west denotes wife and children. The north denotes friends and companions. The nadir denotes servants, workers, and helpers. The zenith denotes ascetics and Brahmins. There are 5 ways in which a son should minister to his mother and father as the eastern direction. He should think, having been supported by them, I will support them. I will perform their duties for them. I will keep up the family tradition. I will be worthy of my heritage. After my parents' death, I will distribute gifts on their behalf. And there are 5 ways in which the parents, so ministered to by their son as the eastern direction, will reciprocate. They will restrain him from evil, support him in doing good, teach him some skill, find him a suitable wife, and in due time hand over his inheritance to him. In this way, the eastern direction is covered, making it at peace and free from fear. There are 5 ways in which pupils should minister to their teachers as the southern direction: by rising to greet them, by waiting on them, by being attentive, by serving them, by mastering the skills they teach. And there are 5 ways in which their teachers, thus ministered to by their pupils as the southern direction, will reciprocate. They will give thorough instruction, make sure they have grasped what they should have duly grasped, give them a thorough grounding in all skills, recommend them to their friends and colleagues, and provide them with security in all directions. In this way, the southern direction is covered, making it at peace and free from fear. There are 5 ways in which a husband should minister to his wife as the western direction: by honoring her, by not disparaging her, by not being unfaithful to her, by giving authority to her, by providing her with adornments. And there are 5 ways in which a wife, thus ministered to by her husband as the Western direction, will reciprocate by properly organizing her work, by being kind to the servants, by not being unfaithful, by protecting stores, and by being skillful and diligent in all she has to do. In this way, the Western direction is covered, making it at peace and free from fear. There are 5 ways in which a man should minister to his friends and companions as the northern direction: by gifts, by kindly words, by looking after their welfare, by treating them like himself, and by keeping his word. And there are 5 ways in which friends and companions, thus ministered to by a man as the northern direction, will reciprocate by looking after him when he is inattentive, by looking after his property when he is inattentive, by being a refuge when he is afraid, by not deserting him when he is in trouble, and by showing concern for his children. In this way, the northern direction is covered, making it at peace and free from fear. There are 5 ways in which a master should minister to his servants and workers as the nadir, by arranging their work according to their strength, by supplying them with food and wages, by looking after them when they are ill, by sharing special delicacies with them, and by letting them off work at the right time. And there are 5 ways in which the servants and workers, thus ministered to by their master as the nadir, will reciprocate. They will get up before him, go to bed after him, take only what they are given, do their work properly, and be bearers of his praise and good repute. In this way, the nadir is covered, making it at peace and free from fear. There are 5 ways in which a man should minister to ascetics and Brahmins as the zenith: by kindness in bodily deed, speech, and thought, by keeping open house for them, and by supplying their bodily needs. And the ascetics and Brahmins, thus ministered to by him as the zenith, will reciprocate in 5 ways. They will restrain him from evil, encourage him to do good, be benevolently compassionate toward him, teach him what he has not heard, and point out to him the way to heaven. In this way, the zenith is covered, making it at peace and free from fear. But that ends that chapter. So let's look back at the introduction with things it talked about in this particular section. Part 1, section 1, part 1, shows within the spiritual domain the Buddha is the counterpart of the wheel-turning monarch. So, talking about the Dhamma, the teachings, the things to achieve, to live by, to make a better place. the restraint is Dhamma. In this, according to what the Buddha is saying. Like the latter, the Buddha relies on the Dhamma and reveres the Dhamma. But whereas the wheel-turning monarch relies upon the Dhamma as principle of righteousness to rule his kingdom, the Buddha relies on the Dhamma as ethical and spiritual norm to teach and transform human beings and guide them toward proper conduct of body, speech, and mind. Neither the wheel-turning monarch nor the Buddha creates the Dhamma they uphold, yet neither can perform their respective functions without it. For the Dhamma itself is objective, impersonal, ever-existent principle, that order that serves as the source and standard of the respective policies and promulgations. With part 2, we start talking about directions and how they relate to life. North, east, south, west, the 4 cardinal directions, and then the 3D directions they have, zenith and what was down, nadir. And they describe each group: parents to the east, teachers to the south, wife and children to the west, friends and companions to the north. So parents to the east, wife, children to the west, the family that raised you, and the family you raise. And then south is teachers, north is friends, companions. So south teachers, they inspire in you. They teach you, instruct you on how to be better, on what to do, while your friends and companions help you. And then, of course, zenith, the Brahmins and ascetics, the thinkers and the higher-ups. It talks about the connections you have with them. And then, of course, the nadir are meant to be your servants and dependents and stuff. But yeah. It is worshiping the 6 directions in which the Buddha freely reinterprets an ancient Indian ritual, infusing it with a new ethical meaning. The practice of worshiping the 6 directions, as explained by the Buddha, presupposes that society is sustained by a network of interlocking relationships that brings coherence to the social order when its members fulfill their reciprocal duties and responsibilities in a spirit of kindness, sympathy, and goodwill. So yeah, always remember what is you and your partner raise a child, whereas you were raised by your parents. That's why East and West I can see being complete opposites of one another. And then north and south, like I said, south is you learn, and then north is the experience with others, with those who you are friends, companions, and you experience life. And everyone else has the same relationships with other people, but on different sides. One's teacher may be another's pupil. But then, unfortunately, there's those who are treated in the nadir direction, servants. Which, honestly, there should never be an underclass. It's something that I just see as completely wrong. Something that should never be. But yeah. But even there's expected to be a level of proper behavior and treatment to servants. So yeah. But with that, we'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.